Hey guys, I'm sorry that I lost you there. I've been talking so long, my phone overheated and totally dumped me out. So I'm down to my last two paragraphs on this training, and sorry, we're just going to have a part 1 and part 2 for day 16. So hopefully you guys are able to find me. I'm going to jump right back into where I left off. I can see you guys are popping on right now. We only have 2 paragraphs left, and then we'll wrap up the training for tonight. I know I've been talking for quite a while. So let me go back to exactly where I left off. We were talking about anti and dis words. We're at the very, very end here of the compliance training. And hopefully this is giving you a lot of really good tools so you're not feeling like completely, totally overwhelmed. You guys are fast. Wow. Let's see here. Let me get it all the way back to where I left off. What books can you use? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to tell you is you cannot use anti or dis words, and Young Living talks about this also. So no antiseptic, no antibacterial, disinfectant. Those are words that are on the banned list. So you can't use those things. So do not ever talk about thieves cleaner or any thieves stuff at all using those words, because we don't have the authority to talk about the products in that way. And I told you guys about the Thieves products that I gave away from the main stage. So what can you say about the Thieves Cleaner? What's a way you could talk about Thieves products that's completely compliant? Well, it's a chemical-free cleaner. Instead of poisoning your family with harsh chemicals, this is made up of just oils and plants. Show before and after pictures of what your kitchen looks like, and then just leave it at that. You don't have to talk about with all those words that you're not allowed to say. No anti-words, no dis words. If you stay in the land of compliance and you stay above the line of wellness and you're just talking about chemical-free cleaning supplies, that's totally compliant. That's completely all right. Now let's talk about books, because you guys have asked me a lot about books and about Zytos, and these fall in exactly the same category. The rule of thumb is you can't have it in the room where you're teaching. And you can't have it on the table where you're doing any oils products. So what books can you use to educate your team about the oils? I actually meant to grab a book to show you guys, to give you an example of a book that you could use that is totally compliant. I didn't grab it though, so let me grab it right now. I have to go to a very dark place. Let's see here. I got a whole big old closet loaded with books. Do I have the book I'm looking for though? I might just have to tell you about it. I might not be able to show. Oh, here's one. Good. Okay. Sorry about that. I want to give you a good example. So what about books, especially when you're doing your follow-up, because follow-up packages, people can snapshot that stuff and send it to the FDA, especially if it's people you've never even met before. So what about when you're mailing things out to touch base with your brand new team leaders? The FDA, or if you're having classes, the FDA does not want you to have a table of books for sale in the room where your classes are taught. Save the game plan book. I'll tell you, this book, every single word in is 100% compliant. We sent it through Conduct and Education. It's totally, completely kosher. It's 99% business materials, but the scripts that I've given you in the back are completely compliant. Matter of fact, I've got a project in the works right now with all of the scripts, the dozens of scripts that I've written, the Beauty School, Chemical Free Home, How to Play with Your Starter Kit, 101, 102, 103, 104, Oils in the Bedroom, all the scripts I've written. I'm in the process of trying to get them through compliance so I can give you guys a script book, a game plan script book. And if we can get them all through and we get the approval, then we'll be able to release that. If not, I'm not going to release it because I don't want to put our family business in jeopardy. So if you guys want to pray that we're able to get all of those through Conduct and Education and they give us the approval on it, I would love to release some of the scripts that I've worked on for the last 2.5 years. I've got gazillions of them on my computer, but I have to stay in the place of compliance also. I'm hoping so, Jen. If you want to pray over that, that'd be awesome. So can we give books like reference guides outside of classes? All right, I'm getting to that. So the FDA doesn't allow you to have tables of books for sale in the room where your classes are taught. Save the game plan book. That is completely compliant. So I'm talking about reference guides. If you have those on a table for sale, there has to be more than one type of book, and it's got to be kept outside of the hall that you're teaching, and it cannot be where you're teaching, and it cannot be on a table with Young Living Oils. It's got to be on a totally separate table than all the others, all right? It also breaks the rules to give away the books as an incentive for buying the kit. You can't do that. If you're working with somebody and you're using a reference guide, the rule of thumb is if somebody comes to you and says, I need to use an oil for this disease, what can I do for this disease? If you open up the book and say, well, on page 53 for this disease, it says XYZ, you just cross the line. Okay. If they come to you and say, boy, I've got this disease and I need help treating this disease, you can say, you know what? I've never had that disease before and I really can't help you. I don't know. But you could begin your research by looking at this reference guide, PubMed.com, or this book or this book. Okay? That you can say. That you are allowed to say. The minute you open the book and you point to a page and you tell them how to cure a disease, you just cross the line. You can point them to the names of multiple titles, not one, multiple titles, and tell them where to begin their research. But when you do the research for them, you've just crossed that line. Okay? You just cross the line. So, let me continue here. What books can you use to educate your team about the oils? So it needs to be kept in a hall that you're teaching, on a table that you don't have any oils on. You cannot give the books as an incentive for buying the starter kit. So then people ask me, well, then what can I do? Use compliant material that you can give away with starter kits. One of my favorite compliant books to give away to everybody who gets starter kits is Jordan Schrant's Welcome Book. I love this one. You can get this at Purpose Meets Hustle. Jordan is a friend of mine. She's a Crown Diamond in Young Living. She's a beautiful Christian woman, got an amazing family, an incredible story. Her story is worth buying and reading. It's amazing. But you can find these at purposemeetshustle.com. And there's a lot of really good ideas in here on how to get them started with their starter kit, but there's no rules that are broken. There's nothing in there that's not compliant. It's all for support. So you don't want the focus of your class, I'll tell you, on retail sales anyway. I just had a woman ask me about this. She said, well, Sarah, what if I want to sell this DIY that I've made in my class and this DIY that I've made in my class, and I want to have this on a table as well? And I'm not even talking about the names for diseases for oils, but you just want to have a whole store stock that you take with you. We're going to talk a little bit more about this farther on in Game Plan. That's not the money in this business, guys. That's not where the money is. You're spending time. That falls under the category of distraction. You've gone down a rabbit trail. The money is in growing a team. It's in getting them on Essential Rewards. It's in training and raising business builders. A retail store always has to be stocked. It never does the work for you when you're away. A team is a snowball that grows and it rolls down the hill like a mountain. And when you've got an emergency, that team is always there. It's like a brick and mortar store that's run by employees when you're not there. All right. When you're retired and you're on vacation, your employees are still out there working for you. And I'm not insinuating that your downline is employees. They're not. But I'm trying to give you an idea in your mind of how network marketing works. Whether you're there or you're not there, that snowball's still rolling down the hill. It's still making you money. So focus on the things that grow your business. Teaching classes, follow up, getting people on ER, and growing leaders. Those three things. Teach classes, do follow up, grow leaders. If you're not doing those three things and you're out there stocking a store, which is illegal, and carrying it from class to class to class so you can make some money on the side, first off, it's a lack of integrity. All right, and God's not going to bless that because you're breaking the rules and policies and procedures. But more importantly, it's a distraction. You're not doing things that are growing your business. So you're not going to grow. And then you're going to get frustrated because there's people around you growing faster, but you're sitting there stocking a store and they're growing business builders and they're teaching classes and they're getting the 101 lecture in front of as many faces as they can. They're the ones that are growing and you're the one that's not growing because you're not doing things that are growing your business. So get away from all that. You don't need that. All right. If you want to make a couple of bottles of thieves cleaner and give them away, because people have never used thieves cleaner and use that as a hook, all right, that gets them interested in the oils, that's fine. If you want to stock an entire store of make and takes that you carry from place to place to place, that's different. And you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So Christine says, am I misunderstanding this post from Conduct and Education that says you can give reference material as an incentive? I'll go back and look at it, Christine, but I'll tell you, when I talked with Conduct about it, when I was on the phone with them, they told me not to do that. They said gifts have to be under $25. They really, really strongly don't like the Higley Guide. I've had Gary and Mary multiple times tell me they do not like that book. So I'm just very cautious and I try to respect their wishes. Instead, give them a list of books that they can continue to grow their knowledge. If people come to me and they've got small children, I'll recommend the Gentle Babies book by Deborah Rayburn. If they want to work on emotions and emotional release, I'll recommend the Releasing Emotional Patterns book. I'll recommend the ULA kit, right? I'll recommend things to them. But when you're putting those things in their hands, you're in that fuzzy gray area of what's allowed. And the thing is, guys, As you rank higher and higher and higher in Young Living, maybe right now your check is $100 a month, all right, or $300 a month. But when you become a diamond, or gold or a platinum, and your check is $15,000 a month, you don't want to be in the gray area. You don't want to lose that legacy income that you can will to your children and your family. It's not worth it for sending out reference guides. So instead, send out a welcome book, which is a little less intimidating to somebody. Instead of a 300-page welcome reference guide, send out a welcome book with 30 recipes in it that's going to train them how to use the kit, okay, without overwhelming them, and then tell them, hey, there are other resources if you want to continue your education. Here's a couple of other ideas, and give them some names of some books. Don't ever open the book. Don't point to a page. Don't use the oils for treating the disease. Don't run down that line. Instead, give them things that are compliant. Not only that, but this book is $3. This is a lot cheaper than buying reference guides for every single person on your team. So that's a place that I would recommend. All right, don't go to the land of the gray. It's not worth it. There might be some people in conduct that tell you it's okay. There might be some things printed that tell you it's okay. But I'll tell you, as a diamond, almost diamond, I'm talking about myself in the land of the positive here. As an almost diamond, I'm not going to give reference guides out, okay? Because that's in a fuzzy gray area. And it could take me to a place of non-compliance like that fast if people are asking me questions about it. So I'd rather give out things that I know are compliant and then point them in the direction where they can do more research. Do you see the difference between how you educate? It's a little different if you're pointing them to resources that are going to help them grow. All right. So no rules broken. If you're using the welcome book, there's tons of ideas in there, and you're completely in a land of compliance. You're not going to get yourself in any trouble. You don't want the focus of your class on retail sales. All right. You want to keep your focus on the 3 things that grow you: teaching classes, follow up, and growing leaders. You don't need a store for a 101 class. You need a starter kit and you need a script. That's it. That's all you need to do this business: a starter kit and a script. And I'll add to that, just for good marketing, that after you get through the first class, you're going to have a lot of questions about your business. And that's where game plan comes in, because it answers all those questions that you as leaders don't want to sit there and answer over and over and over and over again. So if you're just handing the book off to your leaders, I give the game plan book to every single person who ranks. At the end of every month, there's a button in the Oily Tools application that we talked about last week that says new rankers. I make a list of all the people that ranked, and I just send out the books to all the people in my team that ranked, because now it's answering their questions without me having to be that person that answers every single question. Where do I place people on my team? How do I rank up? I don't understand the virtual office. So this answers all of it for them. So that's one way that you can use the book. The other thing that I want to tell you is just one more thing. Teach them to fish instead of giving them fish. So teach them to fish instead of giving them fish. If you answer a question on back pain at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're always going to have to answer those questions. Always, always, always. So point them in the right direction and then tell them where to do their own research, but don't ever give answers to people coming to you with disease questions. I love Mary Young's sentence that she gave us when we were at the Gold Retreat about 1.5 years ago. She said, well, I don't know about that disease. I don't have that, but you can start your research in these places. You guys have that? That's a sentence that you can use to get out of those questions. I don't know that. I've never had that before. I can't really answer that question, but here's where I would start my research. All right. Here's where I would do. So Jen says, what if you're talking about ridding chemicals? Can you reference studies on the bad things about chemicals in those cleaners? Yes. Yes. If you're talking about chemicals, yes. If you're talking about oils for treating disease or inferring that, no. That's where you cross the line. So I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. All right. Let me finish my thought there. Teach them to fish. Don't be the one out there talking non-compliantly. Teach them to fish, okay? Teach them to fish. So let me give you some encouragement. In March of 2015, this is after my business was suspended twice in the virtual office, question about Zytoscans. The rule on Zytoscans is it's got to be outside the room if you're running it. And I'll tell you, Zytos are in the land of the gray. They're in the land of the gray. Gary and Mary really don't like them very much. They don't talk very positively about them. My understanding from conduct and education is that as long as the scanning machine is outside the room that you're teaching in, that it can be considered part of the vendor hall and that you will not get in trouble for that. But again, as you rank up, you might decide that that's not a gray area that you really want to take your business to. The Atovi, the Zytos, maybe that's not a place that you feel very comfortable. So you're going to have to decide how far you want to go. Compliance is a thing that you got to decide. There's going to be some sapphires out there that are like, yeah, I'm just going to go all the way. Like, I'm totally okay with this. And I got people on the other side that are as emerald can be, my green personalities, that are like, no, these are the rules, and I'm going to live within the boundaries of those rules, and I'm going to follow it. So yes, Satori falls under the same category. Now, they have revamped a lot of their programs, so they're talking more about supporting systems. I haven't seen a Zytoscan recently that has talked about curing disease, all right? They generally don't do that. But the rule of thumb is, what Conduct has told me is it needs to be outside the room you're teaching in. Outside the room you're teaching in. So I hope that helps you guys and answers the Zyto question. All right. Greens unite. I love you, Kristen. You're awesome. Okay. So let's just end with some encouragement, because I know this is like a full comprehensive FDA compliance training. And I swear to you, my trainings for boot camp will not go this long again. I promise. But there were so many things I wanted to hit that weren't even in the book that I hope have encouraged you and given you some parameters on things you can say. You know that if you stick to the 101 script, you're going to be in safe territory. You know that if you're sharing stuff off the blog, you're in safe territory. If you're not sure whether you can talk about vitality oils or topical or internal, there's a chart in the member resources tab on the virtual office that gives you a chart that'll show you what you can say. So I've given you a lot of resources on things. I've given you sentences on what to say when people come to you, so you know how to respond to them. Well, I don't know. I haven't done that, but here's some places you can start your research. Okay, so hopefully this has taken some of the fear out of being able to talk about the oils compliantly. Now let me end with some encouragement to you. All right. I really do want to encourage you, because I swear to you with every bone in my body, this business is worth fighting for. And it's okay to be part of a wellness company instead of a company that treats disease. It's all right. It's worth fighting for, because if you've looked at the income disclosure guide and you've listened to Bootcamp video 1 and 2, you know where this goes. All right. You know where this business goes. And you know that whether your pace is fast, your pace is slow, there is no wrong pace in Young Living. There is no wrong way of doing this. It's just about getting the 101 in front of people. The only people that don't get to diamond are the ones that give up. They're the only ones that don't get there are the ones that walk away too soon, or the ones that are spooked by FDA compliance. Just don't treat disease, guys. Don't treat disease, and you're going to have a thriving, healthy, growing, amazing Young Living business that's going to carry you all the way to diamond, that's going to bless your family, it's going to bless your children, it's going to bless the people that you will the income to, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth speaking compliantly. It's worth running your business with integrity. So some encouragement. In March of 2015, Stephanie, it doesn't matter if your pace is slow. You're still a diamond. Okay, you're still a diamond, and you're still going to get there. My diamond above me, Mary Star Carter, took 14 years to get to diamond. And you know what? She's enjoying the benefits of a diamond income in her 40s for the rest of her life. So it doesn't matter that it took her 14 years to get to diamond. Who cares? Who cares? If I'd work at a dollar store for 30 years to know that I would make $30,000 a month, I would work at the dollar store for 30 years knowing that I could ultimately get that income. It's worth it. All right, it's worth it. So some encouragement. In March of 2015, my OGV was $46,000 a month. All right, that was my OGV. 5 months later in August, my OGV was $67,000 a month. A few months later, my OGV was $153,000 a month. Right now, this month, my OGV is $230,000 a month. Next month, in February, it's going to cross $250,000, and John and I are going to be diamonds. I'm sure of it. All right, I'm sure of it. But we've only taught compliant classes since March of 2015. Since March of 2015, our OGV has been multiplied by 6, and every single class that I've taught since March has been totally compliant. There's been nothing in there where I'm treating disease or showing information or showing testimonies, and yet our OGV has been multiplied by 6. So can you reach people? Yes. Yes, you can reach people talking compliantly. You got to meet them where they are, and you got to educate them without treating disease by talking about the oil supporting systems. So you guys can do it. There is a good way of talking about it. Why? I told you about it in the 101 lecture. It's very, very simple. People are label reading. They're sick of the garbage in the products that they're using. Chipotle is cutting all the GMO products from their meat. Panera is cutting all of the chemicals from their salad dressing. Kraft is cutting all of the dyes from their mac and cheese. Heinz is cutting all of the corn syrup from their ketchup. This stuff didn't exist 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You walk down the aisle, it says no high fructose corn syrup on the cereals because everybody's grabbing things and flipping the labels over of every single thing that they're reading, and they're saying, no, I don't want chemicals across the threshold of my door in my house. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. As long as you stay on a chemical-free home, and oils, they got nothing in them. It's just the plant. It's just the steam distilled plant. There's literally nothing as pure as an oil on the entire face of the earth. We're not even as pure as an oil, all right? We're not even as pure because we put things on our body all the time that have chemicals in them, or we breathe chemicals in them. We're exposed to chemicals. The oils literally are the purest substance in the face of the earth. So if you're living in the land of the pure, you always have a place to talk about purity. Always. You can always come from the chemical-free home angle if you don't know how to approach somebody about oils. Talk about them supporting the systems or come from a chemical-free angle, and you have a platform to teach people about oils without crossing into the land of non-compliance, all right? If a downline is flagged, does that put you at risk? No. No, it doesn't. Only you. Only your personal stuff. So, whew. All right, y'all got to go to Pinterest, delete your Pinterest folders. This is a great script layout of what we can say in the VO. There is a great script. Yes, the virtual office got wonderful tools in it, so go check it out. Young Living's done an amazing job getting information out to you, and I hope that this has put it all in one place so that you feel more confident about what you can share and what's okay and what's safe, all right? In 1 year, guys, in 1 year, after I started teaching compliant classes, John and I made it to the top 1% of all income earners in Young Living with no sales and no network marketing experience. So it doesn't matter when you get in. It's just about getting that 101 class in front of as many faces as you can, whether you're sharing from the oilabilityteam.com website for free, whether you're sharing the 101 audio that's completely compliant, or you're teaching to a couch of 5 people and just reading the script in Appendix A. Just read the script, follow up, rinse and repeat. That's it. Read the script, follow up, rinse and repeat. And the more frequently you do that, the faster you will rank. That is the way to get to diamond compliantly and keep the purest oils on the earth out there for everyone. You made it. You survived the FDA compliance training, all right? In layman's terms, we hit everything tonight, like everything in compliance. So tomorrow night's training is the comp plan. In layman's terms, we're going to lay it all out for you. Then on Wednesday, a strategy guide on where to sign new oilers. It's actually why I started writing game plan, was because people didn't know once they signed people where to put them. They didn't know, and we end up with people that are really, really wide or people that are really, really deep. So is there a strategy on where you place people so that your timing is good and your OGV and your legs hit at the same time so that you're able to rank up? Is there a plan for doing that? We're going to hit that on Wednesday. Thursday, how to reach and maintain rank. The entire secret to ranking up. How do you go beyond silver? How do you get to gold and how do you get to platinum? What's the secret to doing that? It's one word. I'm going to pass that along to you on Thursday. We're going to put some tools in your hand, tons of tools that are totally free that you can use on Thursday. Friday, how to balance it all. How the heck do you run a Young Living business and have a family and have kids, public school, homeschool, have a marriage? Like, how do you juggle it? Maybe you're still at your job and you're trying to balance the job and a Young Living business. Like, how on earth do you get all of that on your plate and still juggle it all? We're going to nail that. I'm going to give you a lot of tools on Friday on how to do it. That is week 4 of boot camp, all of those topics. So join me tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll talk about Tuesday's topic. But before I let you go, I got a couple of winners for the week 3 contest. All of you guys are able to keep up with me every single week. I pick winners for DVDs, for Game Plan audiobook, which is not released yet, for signed copies of the books, for thumb drives with all of my scripts on them, which we do not have for sale anywhere until I can get those through compliance. So for week 3, the contest winners, these packages are valued at about $400 each. And because we're week 3, we have 3 winners that I'm picking. The winners are, if you guys are listening, drum roll. The winners are Lisa Herman, LaDonna Cecil, and Mindy Hall. Congratulations to our week 3 winners from the contest from last week. Lisa Herman, LaDonna Cecil, and Mindy Hall. If any of your leaders are on here, you guys want to tag them in that, you guys have to write me and IM me and tell me that you won the week 3 contest and give me your address so I know where to send it and we'll get it out this week. Congratulations to Lisa Herman, LaDonna Cecil, and Mindy Hall. You guys are all diamonds rising. I'm so proud of you. You got a $400 bundle going. If you can keep up with me all this week, enter the contest this weekend. I'm going to be picking 4 people for week 4 to win this huge bundle that we're going to send out to everybody. So make sure you're doing the reading. What's the homework assignment? Read chapter 16 in the game plan book. Make sure you're doing all the compliance training. Do the chapter 16 worksheets in the game plan workbook, and then be ready for me tomorrow night. So that's your homework. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Hopefully tonight really invigorated you, gave you lots of tools, told you you can do this. I believe in you. You're still a diamond rising. I believe you can talk compliantly about the oils. I love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome Monday night. And I'll see you tomorrow for a much shorter boot camp on Tuesday, 9 Eastern, same bat time, same bat channel. Have an awesome, awesome night and oil up. I recommend, Idaho Blue Spruce. Bye.